Let's talk about pitching a song. There's so many factors to consider when pitching a song, and songs can get cut for so many different reasons. Firstly, you hope it's because it's the best song for the artist and the best song for the album. When you're sending a song to an A&R, you have to take into consideration that they're listening to hundreds of songs for even one project. You want yours to stand out. So how can you make it stand out? Well, firstly, before even production and quality come into sound quality come into the picture, you have to make sure it's a really great song. So to start off with that, that's your foundation for pitching a song. Next, as we've talked about before, you present the song in the best way you can. So as much as possible, get the best production you can, and if you have a brief for an artist, have the song match the brief as best you can. I would have a decent enough voice, but it's not what you would call a great demo voice. So for all the songs that I send and I pitch, I always use a demo vocalist to sing on it. Before I could afford to pay a demo singer, I used to give them a couple of percentage points off the song. Not everyone would agree to this or would want to do this, and that's fine. But in my mind, it could have been the difference between my song getting across the line and getting on an album. I could swallow losing those few percentage points. This is so important. I mean, there's songs that I've written that I probably had a few doubts about, but I was listening to it continuously with my voice on it. And it was that turning me off. And once we got a pro singer in, the difference was startling. It can really sell a song. And this is essentially what you're trying to do. You're trying to sell this song. So if you can't do it with your voice, get someone else in. And that goes for the same with the production or the lyrics or any other element of the song. Always be open to finding someone to help you get that song to where it needs to get. Now, the level of quality, as I've said, generally needs to be high when you're pitching a song. But as with everything, there's always exceptions. One of my last cuts was a simple piano demo with me singing on it. It just happened to suit the song, and so did my voice. And it'll probably only happen once. But generally, I make sure the song is as good as it can be production-wise before sending it out. The relationship you have with the person you are sending the song to can also give you some leeway. If you have a good track record with this person and they trust you as a writer, and you might be able to get away with sending maybe a rough draft, but that's still up to a certain standard, or maybe an idea that they may want to show an artist on your behalf. It's about knowing these boundaries and relationships. If you're cold calling or mailing an A&R and pitching for a big artist, you want to blow them away with your song and production. That should be your aim. You want to make them sit up and take note of that song. It's a fact that starting out as a writer, you're going to have to work twice as hard as the established writers. They have forged all those relationships to get in the room first with the artist, to have the links and probably the money to get things done faster, more efficiently, and a bit slicker. So that is why when you're sending something out, make sure it's the best it can possibly be. A good rule of thumb is to not have any excuses for it. You know, if you're playing a song to someone, even if it's a friend, and if you start to kind of say, oh, well, I haven't finished that part yet and I wanted to get a better sound for this, but I couldn't, once you start piling on those excuses, then alarm bells should start to ring and you should say, this song isn't ready to send out. As I've said before, there's always exceptions to these rules. So try and take every avenue and keep on sending material out there. And that's material that you're happy to send out.